Would be like kind of a justified amount of civilians to kill in order to liberate Palestine?
It's as many as necessary. Resistance is always necessary because it's an inevitable fact of oppression.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back to it. Conservative Confucius back at it again. This is going to be our Shabbat kind of video. We might start doing this every single Friday, and this is going to be a little bit longer form video than normal. So don't forget to go down there, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to ring the bell for notifications. Alrighty, so we're going to be covering a series of things during this conflict. As long as this conflict is going on between Israel and Palestine, we are going to be covering things on Shabbat that are related to that. It just seems kind of, poignant, and I need something that would be fun to do, or is more important to do, I guess you could say. I don't know, fun, but it's something to do. Alrighty, so let's get into it. Continuing through the chaos of the current modern shitstorm that is life. These students refused to move from a wall that had graffiti on it, and the contractors were like, all right, F it. I'm not dealing with this shit. I put up with enough of your crap. You're allowed to express yourself, but they're allowed to do their job.
Thank you. Taylor's giving me a new hoodie. You dummies. No, not the Eunice. Not the Eunice. Oh, yeah, y'all. It's all good, y'all.
Intimidated by a sign.
He just doesn't care, dude. I would cover them more, like way more in paint. It's ridiculous that they put red hands all over that. For people who don't know, the red hand symbol, like when people paint their hands red, not just, I take this as the same thing, or, this, got two screens. I got three screens actually, but so the red hand symbol, you see two of them side by side. Let's see, here, and you see individuals, and you see other ones here and here, and all over the place that are together. And the reason they're doing that is because in the Second Intifada, there was a man who took a picture after ripping and eating ripping the intestines and heart out of a Jewish man, and then supposedly, possibly even taking a bite out of it. We don't know. I haven't watched the videos. I refuse to. It's just that bad. The pictures are enough. And he held up his hands after sticking his body out of a window and holding his hands up to show the Palestinian people that he was covered in, Israeli Jewish blood. And that's what this represents. So they are definitely justifying the murder of Jews in the Second Intifada and continue. Yeah.
Read that sign for me, brother.
We advised them they were going to get paid on them. We're just here. Whether we agree or disagree.
Dude, that's dangerous.
So this is from Andy No. You can go check him out on Twitter. I love him. He's great. He does a lot of great stuff. At Case Western Reserve University in Cleveland, a contractor had hired to paint over vandalized wall by pro-Gaza, pro-Hamas activists is met by protesters who want to stop him. 3 protesters, that's it. So, all right, let's get into it a little bit more. So, UNRWA, the world international community is still blind, deaf, and dumb towards Israel. Video of launches from the Gaza Strip towards Beersheba, and the joy of the Gazans is shown. Also, by the way, where is it? Let's see if can I open it up? There's something else that's just as important as all that. You know what? Let's open up another one and go straight to that, just to show you what they're celebrating. I mean, obviously, there's more than just that one thing, but it's pretty crazy. Like they weren't firing at like military, installations or complexes. They were literally firing at civilian children and women. Like, so this is it right here. So this is terrorists fired rockets into the Israeli city of Beersheba and hit a children's playground. So yeah, so they destroyed a kindergarten or daycare, kindergarten children's playground, and instead of saying, oh, we condemn the fact that Hamas fired rockets at children, they say, oh no, only Israel does that. Like, are you kidding me? Like, you're all hypocrites. They're just like narcissistic little spoiled pricks who have no knowledge on anything. You're just the most massive of hypocrites.
الآن كما نشاهد دفعة صاروخية جديدة تنطلق من جنوبي قطاع غزة باتجاه المناطق أو البلدات الإسرائيلية. إذن كما نشاهد دفعة صاروخية جديدة تنطلق من جنوبي قطاع غزة باتجاه المناطق أو البلدات الإسرائيلية. إذن كما نستمع الآن رشقة صاروخية جديدة تنطلق باتجاه المدن والبلدات الإسرائيلية. نستمع التي صعيد مدينة رفح.
Yeah, it basically goes on condemning Israel, saying they're going to fire rockets or Israel deaths the Jews, blah 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 blah. We don't need to hear all that. There's a rocket. 1, 2, 3. Obviously, those aren't the only 3. They definitely fired a lot more. I mean, that's probably just they realized that they were firing them, and then they were like, "Oh, pull out your phone and take a picture, or camera, or video, or whatever." So they got, some of them. This guy got like 5. This guy got 3, or this person got 3. And you can hear the children in the background celebrating. Children. Yeah. All right. So this is the Stop Antisemitism. I agree with a lot of their stuff. There's a few people that they go after. And I'm like, why are you doing that? Most of it is pretty, justified. All right, so this photo says the first Jewish, they sent a picture of like a Instagram reel or whatever it's called. I don't really use Instagram. The first Jewish marching band ever to perform in Disney World performed Havanu Shalom Alechem. This song is about bringing peace. I think that's all it says on there. It says like Imagination, or is that what it says? Yeah, Imagination, David something Jewish Day Marching Band, something like that. I can't really see it. I can't tell if it's a day or something, whatever it says. Anyways, yeah. So it says bomb them, laugh my ass off. I'm not joking. Shoot a bullet so fast that it pierces through every single one of them, and they all come falling down like dominoes, grasping for their guts in pure agony. Okay, yeah, so this is, this is head of school, Mariama Richards, who teaches at Crossroads School in LA. Or wait, hold on. No, this is a student. Sorry, student's text. It's a student's text message. Okay, a student's text message. Bomb them. Yeah. Okay. Shoot them. Yeah. Okay. So on. And then it says, and then here's the head of school. So they're saying email this woman and make sure that this person gets held accountable. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. Let's see some of the results. Are the replies? I'm an alumnus, and I can confirm that it is a cesspool. It is a cesspool of anti-Semitism. Any journalists out there, I have screenshots that prove it. They tolerate Jew haters. This needs to be reported to the FBI. Yeah, it does. Hitler eats his back 100%. So Adam Levine, Evan Spiegel, Gwyneth Paltrow, and Baron Davis all went there, which is crazy. I left that school for a reason. Crossroads, that's surprising. Not really. I've heard a lot about that school myself. Hamas training before college at a price. $50,000 for middle and upper, which is high school, and then $42,000 a year for freaking elementary school. I don't know if they're saying that's for the entire time that they're there from K to 12 or K to 5th grade. That's weird. I guess that's right. Some middle schools are like 6th to 8th instead of 7th to 8th. So K to 5, 42,000, 6 to 12, 50,000. I'm assuming that's a year. Which, if it's for the entire time, that's fantastic. For multiple years, that's fantastic. But I know that my adoptive mom, she taught at a private school, so I got free schooling because she was a teacher. So I didn't have to pay for the tuition. I mean, if we did, we wouldn't have been able to do it. We were basically broke. My brother and sister were in and out of like rehab and all kinds of shit, and I was going through all kinds of like therapy because of like massive abuse and lots of issues and shit that my siblings had kind of caused. So I went to a private school, and it cost around $13,000 a year, and that was like 20 plus years ago. And I think I went to the high school for a small amount of time. My mom got a discount, but we couldn't afford it, and I ended up almost getting kicked out. So my mom just said, okay, so we can't afford it. You almost got kicked out. You don't like it. Let's just leave and take you to public school. And that worked out better. I liked it. But the high school, I think, was $18,000 a year, and my mom got like a discount, which put it at like $6,000 or something. But still, I mean, it's outrageously high, and that was years ago. Again, like, I mean, I haven't been. So they did the same thing, or no, they didn't do the same thing. It was 7th to 12th. It was a junior senior high, and they charged $18,000 a year. We got the discount, and it was pretty insanely high for that time. And that was roughly, so I would have been 12, 13 years old, 13, something like that. 12 turning 13, and I'm 30, almost 31. So yeah, I mean, that's literally like 28 and a half years ago, something like that. And I mean, that's something pretty common for that. I mean, that price range is pretty common, and it remained about that price all the way until roughly high school for me. End of high school, I remember my mom was teaching at a new school here in Arizona, and they said it was about the same price. It was like $14,000 a year, something like that. So it's roughly the same for most schools. So if that's $50,000 a year, that's insane. And they're teaching kids nothing other than hatred, indoctrination. And this isn't a Christian or a Jewish or a Catholic or a whatever school. This isn't a private school teaching you religious values and a good moral center and giving you a value system that you can base your life around, and just having a better center for everything around your life. And instead of that, it's just a woke ass private school for rich kids and parents who aren't religious. It's like it's basically just a rich kid school, and it's nothing more. And now it's just an indoctrination camp for the fucking wealthy and their children. It's unbelievable. I've heard of these fucking places in like Beverly Hills, and there's also one in New York that I'm really and in Philadelphia too, that I really hate. But I've only heard a little bit of Crossroads, but I mean, if it's that bad, these people should be held accountable for their actions. And if this is what their students think, maybe someone should investigate them as a school, not just a kid. So now it turns out that Hamas protesters and their little groups are now Nazi saluting. And this looks like a Zoom call. Someone decided to take a video, and it shows that they are now, doing the, salute.
Straight to.
Yep. See, they go 1 and 2.
Motion, I will take as amended. Straight.
See, There you go. And then wait one more. Again, make sure they did it again even straighter and more firm. Yep. So these people are just crazy freaks. Anti-Zionist students, anti-Jewish students at the Australian National University performed Hitler salutes to mock Jewish students while they were speaking during a student union meeting. So this is a student union meeting online, and they decided to put Nazi salutes up to mock them. Yep. Another Jewish Jewish student did mock Hitler mustaches to mock the Jewish students during the same meeting. You can see right there, and they have a little fucking hijab on. Sorry for my language. Yeah. And they say anti-Zionist or Jew haters. Let's just call it Jew hate, shall we? Because that's what it is, basically, and that's true. And I agree. Drew Pavlo, he's done a lot of good stuff for, what he's covered, but anti-Zionist is a ridiculous thing to say because it's not. It's anti-Jewish in every single way. They even said that. I showed you guys in my last video covering some Israel stuff and these protesters. They literally said anti-Jewish in their frickin' like video. They were saying, oh, why is it that these counter-protesters getting police protection, but the anti-Jewish protesters aren't getting any police protection? It's like, oh, what? Is that a Freudian slip, or did you really just mean to say that? Because that's unbelievable. So it turns out that people are not very happy about what's going on with Miss Israel, or not Miss Israel, sorry, but the Eden Galon competing in a Eurovision Song Contest. So,
Lördagens demonstration mot Davis Cup-tennisen spårade ur totalt.
Yeah, they're fucking scumbags. They even had to evacuate a Jewish town outside of Malmö, Sweden, because they were marching in the area and attacking people. So, and I mean, they've had a huge problem with Muslim immigration, and now they're literally being attacked. Like regular, not Jewish people, but regular Swedish citizens are being attacked in the streets just because they're, not Muslims. And it's pretty crazy. There was actually I can't remember what news company it was, but they weren't even from Sweden. They came to do a story on how the attacks were rising, on the rise. And they were literally attacked and robbed on camera and had rocks thrown at them. It was absurd, dude. Crazy. So yeah, this is Avi Yemeni covering the anti-Israel rally that this dude literally, all he said was, while condemning whatever Israel's doing, we should condemn Hamas. And just saying that, they started screaming, resistance is justified when people are occupied, over and over and over again, and booing this man.
Issue. And while we condemn the Netanyahu government, let us also condemn the Hamas attacks on October the 7th. Let's also condemn the Hamas attacks, and let's remember, let us remember that those people...
Yeah, this is just unbelievable, and it's going to continue to go like this. When people try to speak out and be the common sense person, they're going to be heckled and shit on, and less people are speaking out because of that kind of crap. And look at this little smug prick with the hijab on. It was the video we started off in the beginning. So yeah, so Jewish people in Brisbane, Australia. How many civilians would it be justified to kill in order to liberate Palestine?
Would be kind of a justified amount of civilians to kill in order to liberate Palestine.
It's as many as necessary. Resistance is always necessary because it's an inevitable fact of oppression.
Yes.
People are gonna die until Palestine is free. It's not something.
So people are gonna die for always.
Here's the line. Palestinians are gonna fight until they're liberated.
Yes.
So Israel gets to decide how many people die before that happens.
Right.
Oh God, if I lived in Palestine, I'd be a terrorist. They've killed.
Would you join Hamas? Would you join Hamas if you could?
Probably, if I lived in
Wow, what a
Palestine.
scumbag piece of shit.
Yeah.
But I haven't experienced that. If I had experienced what they experienced,
No, you wouldn't.
100% I'd join Hamas.
Yeah. Okay. So if Hamas were to kill like 100,000 Israelis, like in order to liberate Palestine, you would accept that?
That's not ever happened.
That's not what he's
It's
saying.
not
He's
happened
asking
with
you,
any
though.
land back movement.
Yeah, never. Algeria?
A lot of people died, but it was militants. Just civilian massacres.
Do you think
civilian massacres happen
Do
all
you
over the
think
world?
Jews have a right to live in Israel, in Palestine, Israel?
Yeah, Jewish people have a right to live there,
Yeah, but not
Jewish
Zionists.
Palestinians. Zionists have no right to Israel.
Yeah.
Israel
Yes, they
has
do.
no right to exist.
Yes, it
So
does.
the Jews who live there can live there as long as they don't support Zionism.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Zionism has no place in Palestine.
Right.
Israel has no right to exist.
There have been some polls, for example, that say that 70-80% of the Israeli population are Zionists. Would you be fine with clearing out 70-80% of people?
Not clearing out, but I would see hope like programs for de-radicalization.
Re-education?
You're the one radicalized, you
But
How would you
insane
re-educate people?
piece of shit.
they can
Sorry.
either fuck off or learn empathy. Like, it's not...
Yeah.
You're the one who needs to learn empathy, you dumb prick. Ugh, sorry. I don't want to get too angry. This shit drives me wild. I mean, these people are just so effing indoctrinated that they don't even realize how ignorant
There
and
was
stupid what
mass
they're
support
saying
for the
is.
Nazis in Germany.
Yeah.
Yes, and you are the Nazis. You are the Nazis. There is mass support for Hamas. You don't think you're the Nazis? You are the Nazis, you prick.
There was none of that
Denazification.
arguments of how many people are you willing to kill before the Hitlers.
Yeah.
Like,
So,
that's
so you've got to denazify Israeli society.
basically...
Yeah. It would be like,
This is insane. Honestly, I don't think I'd be able to keep my cool talking with someone like that. I can talk with a lot of people. When you start saying just ridiculous ass shit like that, it drives me nuts. So yeah, what's going on with Islam? You know, just regular, everyday immigrants, right? Oh wait, no, it looks like they're having some infighting trouble. You know, how good are they with children? Look at that woman, just threw her baby around, and then smashed it against a fucking thing, then dropped it again. And then another one holding her baby while fighting as well. And then the baby looks dead. Oh, wait, it rolled over. It rolled over. Oh, it's crawling towards its mommy. Well, it's probably going to get kicked in the face here in a second. Where's the other baby? Jesus. Not baby Jesus, but you get what I'm saying. That baby ain't no Jesus. That baby is in hell. Sorry. Baby deserves better than that. And freaking crazy. These people are insane. I mean, just look at this shit. Yeah. Oh yeah, this one was crazy. I was going to show you guys this yesterday. So this is a Muslim woman gets beat down by her parents because she wouldn't cover up. Jesus, man. Such good people, right? I mean, that's definitely the people I want, to control Israel. So let's see what's going on with the actual people from Gaza, What is going on with this video? There we go.
A man who was born in Gaza and was raised in Gaza. He is here to share with us his personal experience, his childhood, what he saw in school, his parents. He later on made it into Israel, converted to Judaism. He changed his name from Ayman to Dor. Fascinating story, truthful story, eye-opening story. I want you to listen in. I'm sure you're going to learn a lot. I know that I will. And so I welcome you to join me in this conversation.
It's going to be translated so the mouth won't match up.
Thank you for coming to sit with me and talk to me about your life.
Thank you for inviting me.
So I would very much like to hear your story. You came to America to share your childhood. So let's start with that. Where were you born? What was your name? Who were your parents?
My name was Ayman Abu Sabuh. I was born in the Gaza Strip in Khan Yunis to a Palestinian Muslim family. We were 5 siblings, 3 sons and 2 daughters. I was the middle child. My father was a worker in Israel in Rishon LeZion. At the time, there was an open passage. Every day, people would go through it, people coming from Gaza and from Khan Yunis. When I was 3 years old, my grandfather said to me, "Sit down." So I sat down next to him. He told me a story about Jaffa. He said that part of it was his land, and the Jews took it from him. Basically, all of Israel is our land. Every place where we used to live, the Jews took it. When you grow
Not
up,
true.
you'll murder them and take the land back, because this is your inheritance.
Your grandfather told you to murder Jews.
Yes, my paternal grandfather. When I returned home, I heard my father say, "Thank God," when he heard about the murder of Jews. Thank God, may his name be glorified, may they all die. I have to remind you, my father worked for 27 years in Israel. He made money, he bought land, he built a house, a private home, a luxurious villa, like wealthy people, with the Jews' money. Without that, he still said murder the Jews. In those days, we didn't have kindergarten. The kids would play outside. They play hide and seek and soccer. And there were soldiers in Gaza, Khan Yunis, and Rafah. Since I was born, I grew up among soldiers.
The Israeli soldiers.
The Israeli soldiers who were there from before I was born. Also the Jews.
So, yeah, I mean, this is a really good story. It's really nice to see someone who's actually being fully honest, who isn't using a biased perspective on. He's able to look past his indoctrination that he had as a child. He's able to look past his old hatred for Jewish people and America, and he's able to do so in a way that allows him to look at the past objectively instead of subjectively, like almost all of us do. Most of us will look at the past through our own worldview. We see things as they emotionally affected us. So a lot of times we will overplay things that happened in our life. This man has gone past that because he no longer connects with that life he had. So he's able to look on it almost if it's not his life anymore, which means he can look at it with an objective and clear perspective, allowing him to differentiate between his old life and new life, and being able to clearly describe what happened in a way that is true and consistent with reality, instead of looking at it from a biased kind of self-inflicted way, where you push your own narrative and bias upon it, and making it so you are the one who is whatever, you're the one who's oppressed or a victim. And that's how it is in most people's minds. If they went through things as a kid, they're going to judge and blame whoever they were told to blame, or whoever seemed like the most easy to blame.
Would come to the market. After a soccer game, a soldier came over and joined us. He put something in my hand, like this, and closed it. I was curious, and he said, "Open your hand." I opened it, and I saw it was candy. I unwrapped it and ate it. Wow, it was sweet, like honey. Kids love candy.
The Israeli soldiers gave you candies.
Correct. I turned 6 years old, and my mother took me to the market in Khan Yunis to help her out. She bought me some candies. As I was walking, I saw someone's head rolling like a ball.
A severed head.
Yes.
On the floor.
A severed head rolling like a ball.
I know it's common there, but for a little kid,
at the high electric pole,
it's got to be rough.
And there were people hung there to die. They put people in the intersection And thousands of people were all around screaming, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. They chopped off their legs, hands, and then their heads. They bound people by their feet and dragged them through every street until they died. The people who they tied up are the people that they suspected of collaborating with Israel.
So those are Muslim Arabs who were killed.
The Muslim Arab Palestinians who are thought to be collaborating with Israel.
Who killed them?
Who could it be? Have you heard of Yahya Sinwar?
Of course, everyone has.
In math class, we learned there are 5 Jews. We killed 3. How many left? 2.
Wow.
We will kill them as well.
In school, they taught
Scumbags.
It was UNRWA school. You know it?
Of course it was.
It belongs to the UN.
UN.
It's a United Nations.
The UN is just a scumbag organization, but their little UNRWA, which is not technically the UN, because they really have no control over it whatsoever. The UN was refused access to Palestine, so they said, okay, well, we need you at least to create an organization that has some type of connection with the UN. So we need you to at least have some type of organization where we can communicate with you, and you can communicate with us, and we just want you to have the same kind of programs, but you have control over them. So they taught Jew hatred and murder and everything that was wrong. They indoctrinated the youth to bomb people and everything. I mean, it's insane. And UNRWA employees, many of them, I think it was 36 of them to be exact. I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to look that up, but I'm pretty sure it was 36 were identified in the videos for October 7th. And there is at least an estimated 20 to 30 more that had not yet or have not yet been identified. And it's pretty insane. Even few of them died. So, I mean, this is more than, obvious information that we know is true. And they are the ones teaching children. And they indoctrinated an entire generation from kids as young, who were, when he was a child. So, people his age, all the way to people my age and younger and younger and younger, and current children. And they've been indoctrinating him since basically he was a kid. So, I mean, what do you expect?
School.
Correct.
The UN school taught you to kill Jews.
Correct. My father enrolled us in a new school. There is one reason why he enrolled us in a new school. In this school, also of UNRWA, each child that studied at that school received 50 kilos of flour. So 3 kids, it's 150 kilos. So
Wow.
That's the calculation he made. This new school was worse. This school was on a 2-way street. 2-way traffic. On one side, there's an army base, and there are soldiers who come to guard the base.
Wow.
The students go there and throw stones at the Israeli soldiers. Then they go back to the classrooms and open their books.
And who told you to throw stones?
The teachers.
And that's not even the worst of it. I showed a video in one of my older videos where a child, where it's a group of children from UNRWA, and during their I guess you could say recess, or when they're not in school or before school, and they have free time. And one of the many games they play besides soccer and other things, instead of playing tag or kick the can, they have this game that's similar but completely different to spear the queer. You remember that game where you throw a football and then everyone tries to tackle and attack that person who has the ball. It actually has nothing to do with the word, the negative, and gay people. The queer is in the weird person, the odd person out. Spear the queer. And so this game is called Stab the Jew. And someone puts on, or it can be more than one student. For example, in the one I saw, they had 2 students with yarmulkes on, kippah. I'll say yarmulke because not everybody knows what a kippah is. And then they would walk down, alleyways and streets, and the other kids would hide. And then if they could stalk and then run up and stab the kid, the Jew, without being, caught or seen first, then they would win. And once one person went to stab, they'd all run in and they'd all stab. And what's crazy is sometimes they're even carrying real knives. They just don't actually hit the person. Other times they're like fake, plastic ones or cutouts or pirate swords or whatever. But they're all, going up and literally going, and then like walking off, like a prison shank, just like, crazy. And then run off after stabbing the Jews. The Jews fall on the ground, die, and then they come over and then they act like they're spitting on the bodies, and then they leave, and then they start over, and then someone else plays the Jew, and that's Palestinian children's games for you.
Teachers?
All of them, yes. The teachers.
Like the first thing in the day?
Yes, the first thing. There's no real education. The first lesson of the day is how to throw stones at the Israeli soldiers.
What's Jesus?
Jesus is a traitor.
It sounds like Jesus.
They call me an infidel. An infidel is a Muslim who wants to be a Jew.
So traitor.
Exactly. Like connected to the infidels, there's another word.
How do you say that?
Kafar.
It's actually kafir. Kafir.
This word.
Kafir.
It's like.
Yeah, if you're kafir, you're basically it's a death sentence.
You have 24 hours to leave this building to South Gaza. They won't leave.
In an Islamic country.
Why?
I want to make that clear. So if you're classified or called a kafir by a majority of people or a group of people, and it catches on, you will be most likely murdered. But in a non-Islamic country, you'll most likely just be harassed by other Muslims and treated like crap, and online especially.
Hamas is holding us with a gun to our heads. Another 24 hours. At the end, they came out. The Israeli army came and attacked the building. So where are all these so-called...
let's go back real quick. I want to make sure.
He says you have 24 hours to leave this building.
So Israel's saying you have 24 hours to leave this building before we have to attack. Please make sure you escape and get out. We are, we're going to drop flyers later. We'll drop a concussive blast to make sure that it shocks, which is like just a loud bang, and it doesn't actually do any damage. And then they basically about an hour or 30 minutes later, then they do their attack. And that concussive blast is the last thing that they'll do before they do anything.
They won't leave.
They won't leave.
Why? Because
Why?
they say
Because Hamas has them. Yeah, and not only that, in the beginning of the conflict, they were actually tying people with ropes and zip ties onto poles and like pipes or whatever in their house. And there was a man that actually was found that had zip ties cut, like they sliced into his skin and put a zip tie through his arm, on the like outside of his arms. They put it through the skin, like all the way through the layers of his skin and under that, and then zip tied him around the pipe, and then they put it around his arm. So he's like impossible to get off. And if you tried, you would really hurt yourself. And that was the point. They do this to people. And I mean, another guy, they tied a rope around his arm, but then they drilled a hole through his wrist and they tied the rope in a knot right here. And it was crazy. I mean, there's all kinds of pictures. Most of those pictures actually posted on Twitter, they got really, really censored due to the fact of their really graphic content. But still, I mean, it's important that people know about that.
Another 24 hours. At the end, they came out. The Israeli army came and attacked the building. So where are all these so-called injured kids that you see there? They are taking living kids and putting makeup and fake blood on them.
Which we cover.
Touch everyone.
Yeah.
Touch everyone's heart.
I'm not saying there's no kids that haven't died. There definitely has been. But the numbers that we're told in the videos that we see are unbelievably fake. And like he says in a second, where are their parents? If you have your child in a building and you need to escape, what's the thing you're going to do? Are you going to make sure your child escapes before you do? Or are you going to run out of the building and hope your child gets out? If you're a parent, then you're going to make sure your child gets out. If you're an Islamist, you're going to make sure your child stays in the building, one, or you're going to get them out because you just don't want them to die, even though you're an Islamist. and then you're going to use them as propaganda and put makeup on them and make them look like they're dead. Either way, you're evil. You either kill your children for propaganda, or you don't kill your children for propaganda and you use them alive for propaganda. So either way, you're a scumbag piece of crap parent.
Sure.
They touch the world's heart, but it's a lie. If the army asked to evacuate and they did evacuate, then where did all these children come from? Now they're only showing little kids. So this kid is living alone in this building without dad, mom, or his grandparents?
See?
Where's his mom? Why didn't she die?
Yep.
Why didn't his dad die? Why do we see only kids?
What are you saying? Hamas is fooling everyone?
Of course.
Yep.
I'll give you an example. A nurse at Shifa Hospital, everyone knows this. She said Hamas took all the fuel and the medicine. A child broke his arm and we can't do anything. And what did they say? If someone is going against Hamas, what do they do to him? They murder him. But they didn't kill her. That's the trick of Hamas. Have a ceasefire to get some food, water, electricity, and fuel.
You're saying that you understand this and recognize this because you live there.
Right.
And that's basically what they taught you to do.
Right. They don't have innocent people there.
Tell me, don't you think you sound like an extremist?
That's the
No,
truth.
he doesn't.
The truth hurts, and that's okay.
Are you scared that...
You know what?
He's just someone who's grown up there
That's
and seen it
interesting.
for firsthand.
Okay? Let's go back. Go back in time. Before the Intifada, Arabs used to come to Israel. And the Israelis went to Han Yunis.
Yep.
Right?
Yes.
How did it start? A Palestinian Arab killed an Israeli woman.
Yep. Like
Next
always,
step,
starting at first.
Intifada. What did they do? They threw stones at soldiers. That was the first generation. The second generation, what did they do? They came with knives and started stabbing. The third generation used explosives and started bombing. The fourth generation sent missiles. The fifth generation didn't just enter Israel. They invaded it.
Were you taught to hate America also?
Of course. Death to Israel, death to America.
There we go.
You know, during the Gulf War, they used
And not only that, I mean, he says
to
during the Gulf War,
Habib,
they were asking Saddam to bomb America, but they also in Gaza during and all over in Damascus Gate at the Damascus Gate in Palestine, I think it's the West Bank, and in Gaza, they were celebrating in the streets on 9/11. We went over a video of that previously, and it is absurd to think that those people who hate us, even though we help them with tens of millions or tens of billions of dollars every year, they refuse to ever do anything. Like they don't deserve our money. We don't owe them anything, and we're giving them money. They're not owed by us. They're not owed by Israel, and Israel gives them billions of dollars every year as well, plus free food, free water, free electricity, free internet. They should not be getting anything. No one expects America to not only fund their enemies, giving them money, but expects them to feed them, give them water, give them electricity. Oh, and don't forget, give them internet and phone service as well. Go screw yourself. If America was asked to do that, they'd say, how about no? Like, hell no, bro. That's not how it works, buddy.
In Tel Aviv. It means, dear Saddam, please bomb Tel Aviv. Dear Saddam, bomb America.
That's what they used to sing when you were a little boy.
Of course, yes. It's hard to comprehend. It's hard to believe. Like you said to me, isn't it too much? Isn't it racism? Because they raised you on love, on peace. They raised me on hatred and murder.
Yeah, good video. 100% correct. The guy knows, he's seen a lot of stuff that other people can't speak about.
What is this?
Hold on.
Monstrosity.
Hold on.
And they're proud of it. I think that the interesting question I'd ask Dr. Phil is, where are all the women's organizations?
Yeah.
Where are they? Why don't they speak up? How could they face this brutality and just be quiet and maybe issue a perfunctory statement when they're forced to. But this
I'm not a big fan of him, but he's
the whole attitude.
But he's correct, 100% correct. I don't agree with him on not most, but a lot of things. But I do agree with him on many things as well.
Israel here is absurd because, yes, we've killed about 14,000 terrorists. Unfortunately, because of the fact that they use the human shield, there are a slightly bigger number, about 16,000 civilians that were killed in the places where the terrorists won't let them leave. Hamas stops them at gunpoint because for us...
Yeah, and I mean, it's just more bull crap from them. And yeah, and we already went over that one. So, alrighty. Ooh, that was a good one for today, guys. That's going to be it. I really appreciate you guys coming down and watching. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. I appreciate you guys coming. Don't forget to go check out some of the old content. Come and check out my future videos. Alrighty, guys. This is Conservative Confucius, and it was good seeing you guys for the Friday Shabbat video. Alrighty. You guys have a good one.